There's gotta be some kind of truth in what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, dude. It's going to be a part of this show from now on.
I mean, it's fine. It's just one of those things where like I used to like have to listen to my songs over and over and over again to learn the lyrics, make sure I got that shit down.
Yeah.
But also it's just like to listen back to see if there's anything I would change. So I still go back and listen to a bunch of my acoustic stuff because it's like music I hadn't heard in 10 years, essentially. So
well, welcome to the show. Very special show, I would say. We have our owner here, Ellison, and a special guest, Noah Galloway. I'm Chuck.
I'm Zach.
And this is Whiskey, Weights, and Whey / wine because Alex doesn't drink whiskey.
I love weights. I love whey, not the whiskey.
You did have a drink that you actually said was not bad the other night.
Yeah, it was mixed with a whole bunch of other stuff though. So
It was
So you just don't like whiskey at
I
all?
do not like whiskey. I don't like dark liquor
I'll let you
at
pour it
all.
on. And you don't drink.
Well, yeah, not anymore. I took a break a little over a year ago, and after about 6 months of not drinking, I decided to never go back. I'm not to say I'll never go back.
We're not
But-
going to pressure you.
Yeah. I know it was funny when you brought it up, what y'all were doing. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, I don't drink anymore.
We don't pressure you, but it is available if you want it. Zach, what do
All
you
right.
want to drink today?
Maybe I'll go with the Whistle Pig.
All right.
Yeah, I took 9 months off, but I got right back into
Yeah,
it.
right. You're like, yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
jump
yeah.
right back in.
Yes.
You know, I'm working towards, I realized the other day when I say this, it may sound a little offensive to women. And I don't mean it that way. I have this idea of wanting to eat like I'm pregnant, to take care of
Yeah.
myself. Everything I
Yeah.
ingest is like, that is going to affect,
Nutrients. Yeah.
an embryo, a
Yeah.
growing life force. So now when I say that, I'm like, man, it's going to be difficult.
I mean, there's
Changing your diet is not the hard part of being pregnant. I understand. There's a lot more things I don't want to experience,
Yeah.
but I do want to experience what it would be like to just be as clean as possible.
Yeah.
So a good mother, because I mean, there are some that.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always. I mean, I'm sure there's someone out there that's smoking crack and has a baby, but I'm not going to go. I want to treat it like, because
Yeah.
you hear about people all the time. There are women who never quit smoking but can put down cigarettes while they're pregnant. You know what I mean?
It's a
Because
whole different
that
motivation.
baby is way more important.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to start
Yeah.
doing is to see what that's like. Because I'm bad about a lot of different things that I take in.
Yeah, cheers first. I already took a drink too. I'm,
Oh,
bad, I'm bad about
cheers.
it.
Cheers.
Chin-
everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Chin,
Chin chin. So did anybody work out today?
I did.
Awesome. Did
I
you?
took the day off.
It's Sunday. I mean, you're supposed to rest on Sunday, but I was feeling really bad about my week, so I did a little bit of cardio.
Yeah.
What'd y'all do?
Back and abs and some cardio. I just was in such a negative headspace. I just like, I have to get in the gym.
You seem like you're in such a better place in
Oh
just
my
the last
gosh.
hour.
I was pissed off when I walked in here.
I thought you were going to say you weren't ever doing the show again.
No, but it was bad. But I'm good now. I'm fantastic.
Good.
Yeah.
What'd you do, Alex?
Mostly laid on the ground. I did some mobility work.
Oh, that's what I need to be
I was
doing.
about to say laying on the
And
ground
I
and
feel
working out.
much
I
better.
wasn't there.
I went,
You need to do some mobility.
Oh yeah, I am horrible at that. Like I do not work on my mobility, my stretching. That is the way I want to start eating even healthier, and mobility is my next big project because I've gotten stiffer and stiffer over the last year.
mm-hmm. Yeah, the older you get, the harder it gets.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
you brought to attention how bad my mobility was last week. Was it last week? Trying
What
to do
did I
the
do?
reverse burpee,
Oh.
and I couldn't get off the freaking ground.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah,
haven't tried
sorry.
it again yet.
You haven't tried it again?
Not yet.
We need to do an episode of just that, like going in there and
a
just
reverse
try.
burpee. Yeah.
So, Alex, you are the owner of the gym. I'm the co-owner. So,
Yes, we are co-owners together.
I mean, I've talked about how I've met you. I think before. We're married. So, Noah.
I don't own any of it.
You don't own any of it, no, but as a guest, I would figure we ought to tell how we became friends.
Yeah, I would love to hear that story also.
Was
Today
that
I was.
before you quit drinking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because was it through the brewery?
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
okay.
No. I mean, that's when we became actual friends.
Yes.
We met years ago.
Y'all were
at the
friends in
YMCA.
his mind before that.
Oh, okay.
We were friendly to each other.
Friendly, yeah.
Like I didn't consider you a friend. I had your phone number, but I wasn't about to call you while you were on Dancing with the Stars.
Because did we meet at the Y?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That's what I thought.
Like you were working out there and I was working there. Uh-oh. Our other co-star wants to join.
Are you ready to make your on-camera debut?
Oh, she is.
That's the real
adorable.
boss.
It is.
All right. Sorry, I don't have you a bottle to go along with everybody else.
Hey.
Say
Yeah,
She
what are you
said-
drinking, Lucy?
hi.
But so we had met at the YMCA years ago. I was there as an intern in college, and you were there just working out at that time.
Oh yeah, because I'd worked there,
Yeah.
and then
I think I started working there right after you quit.
Yep.
Or whatever you did. Did you ever actually quit, or did you just?
No, I didn't, because in fact, when I started doing all this travel for Dancing with the Stars, things like that, the director at the time pulled me aside one day and she was like, "Can we take you off our books? You're really hurting our numbers." Because I wasn't working any hours. I wasn't doing nothing, but I was still getting that free membership.
Who was that at the time?
I don't even remember who it was. They were real. It may have been Rhonda or somebody like that. But yeah, I wasn't working, but still was on the books as an employee. And they were very polite. And they're like, "Hey, you seem to be getting a lot of attention. Can we take you off of our?"
You're gonna be
Hurting
fine.
for
Yeah,
this.
but the Y was so supportive
Oh,
of
yeah.
everything I was doing, like everything from the announcement to Men's Health to being on Dance with the Stars. Like the amount of people that said that they were just not only everybody on the treadmills, but people would just stop and were watching
Well,
me
that's
on
because
the
they made us,
TVs.
man. I worked there. They were like, if Noah comes on TV.
Oh, they made you. What?
No, but they did. They were like, whatever was it, Thursday nights the show came on or whatever. It was like Thursday nights, all the TVs got changed to that. It wasn't
That's
just us
awesome.
as a staff. It was, the people in the crowd.
Yeah.
There were people.
Everybody,
coming out.
like it's you. Like I love that I still am a part of that YMCA, whether for workouts or just being involved with it, because they've been so supportive of me.
Did you
which I-
drive the bus for them not that
I
long
did,
ago?
yeah. Like it was last year. Well, because after COVID, things were so much slower.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know what? Let me drive the bus. I did it like once, I think. I had a great time doing it, but then all of a sudden I got busy again.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Yeah.
whenever you want to do something else,
Oh, yeah.
then everything gets busy. So I'm not going to complain about it. But
That's
What do
how we actually became friends with COVID.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah. Working
Oh,
out
yeah.
together
Yeah.
at your gym, and which was amazing because as an amputee and working out and then trying to learn things on my own, working with you was incredible, because instead of doing a lot of unilateral workouts that I was always doing, you started doing things with me that was hitting them at the same time. And I've continued to do that now
Good.
because of you. So that
I
was
broke
a
out the
huge
sewing
help.
kit and made some contractions.
Oh yes, it was awesome. It was all we should have documented.
We should have. We were trying to be kind of quiet about it because we weren't officially on lockdown at that time, but like it was right before everything started coming back online.
Yeah, and we didn't know what was going on,
Yeah, it
so it was like, yeah, it was
Our
gonna-
HOA also had a no business out of your household
Yeah.
law.
Oh yeah,
We weren't a business. We were just working out.
Yeah,
together.
just working out. Yeah.
We're friends. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember I took like a toe strap, or no, a ratchet strap, and like took it apart, sewed it together in a certain angle so it wrapped around your shoulder, right?
Yeah.
I think I still got it somewhere in the garage.
Yeah,
Some
no,
patents in there. That,
It was
Right.
very cool.
Me too. Yeah. I think I still got one of your cushioned pad things.
Really?
Yes.
One of those.
that wrapped
This,
around
the, yeah, and it has the two clips on it.
Yeah.
That's the. Like, in fact, I was thinking about buying one of those the other day.
I'm digging through the garage see if I can find it.
Well, if I knew you were stealing my stuff,
I wasn't stealing. I can't help you. You left it. But that's when we ran into each other at the brewery, and somehow we got talking about the gym. And I was like, "Yeah, we're starting one out of the garage." It was just Alex doing mainly virtual, and then I was like, "Sure, if you want to come over, right over." Man, you don't know how many people in my neighborhood was like, "Did I see Noah?"
Really?
Because you were driving that Jeep with your logo on
Oh
the side of town.
yeah, I stood out everywhere.
I
I
got us a
went.
lot of street cred.
It did.
Oh, awesome!
It
Yeah,
did.
celebrity trainer.
You know, I forget that there are people who know of me. You know, I'm not a celebrity, but people know me.
Definitely a local celebrity.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how people
Mhm.
treat me.
Yeah,
I always tell
yeah.
people that my experience in Shelby County is like that movie of that small town, that small Texas town where the guy took the high school team to state as the quarterback, and now he's in his 40s and everybody still likes him.
Yeah.
That's how people treat
Yeah.
me.
It's not a bad position. to
Oh
be in.
yeah, no, I like it. You know what I mean? I'm not a celebrity. I'm just someone that people know and they were proud of
Yeah.
and supported me.
Yeah.
They're the reason I got the attention I received. So those are the people that have continued to support me, and it's so great.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
glad I haven't done anything to screw that up yet.
This ain't that.
There's still time.
Yeah, there's still time.
Just as long as this show isn't the reason.
Yeah, I don't want this to be it. Of course, they say any publicity is good publicity.
That's true. You know, I've got a few friends of mine in the strongman group that I'm like, y'all need to be the bad guys because y'all can just come off as total assholes. And then I'll be the good guy on the side. I'm like, no, that person's actually an okay guy. We'll balance each other out. You know,
That's
them be the
how,
bad
isn't that
guys.
how the WWF started?
Yeah.
Look, I mean, look at The Rock. The Rock is a genius. He has gone back into the Rock mode
Yes.
and pissing people off. You know what I mean?
A heel or something like that, like the bad guy.
Yes, yeah, I was actually in Philly the other day, and my Uber driver was tasked out as one of the drivers for the wrestlers when they came in a couple of days before I was there.
That's cool.
And he talked about how great The Rock was and how he's just a good person, but this person knew his wrestling information. And he said, yeah, he'll, and yeah, I think he's doing a phenomenal job at it, just jumping in, irritating people, and doing the role.
That's Chuck in our marriage and our
Oh,
business.
Yeah, there you go, perfect.
All I heard was you're the Rock.
Yes, you're The Rock.
That's what
That's
I
what-
meant. That's what I meant.
No,
Not the heel
I
part.
heard he's the asshole when it needs to be.
Yeah,
Like, and it's true.
We need one.
If people start getting out of line in the gym, I'm the one that's going to step up and
I'm
be
the
like,
people pleaser, and
You-
then
I see,
I'm
I'm the-
like, if it was just me, that would be fine. But Chuck,
I pull
the
people
good-
to the side. I'm like, dude, you need to put deodorant on.
yeah, I can't. I admire people like him.
Yeah, I
My
can't.
wife's that way. I can't.
can't.
Why? Because I don't know how to go one extreme to the other. I'm either too nice
Yeah.
or I'm a dick. And I was like, I try
There's
to hide
fine
that part
line
of me.
between assertive.
I know, and some people can do that.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
stay over here on my
I'd
whatever.
much rather.
I
everybody
was
like
that
me.
way for a long time, and I credit target loss prevention for
Yeah.
my mentality now. It's like I was so scared of offending someone for years, and I was the timid one. I was the quiet
Yeah.
one. Tried to be the people pleaser until I got drunk, and then I became the asshole. Now it's just a normal asshole, and I
Yeah.
can handle that. But
It takes a lot to learn that, though.
It
Like,
does.
I mean, my job, like, I've become more assertive, and it's
Mhm.
bled into like my normal life because I have tough conversations every single day.
exactly.
And so now it's no longer like an issue.
Mhm.
So like when Katie, my wife, is just like, "Hey, we need to have this conversation," I'm like, "I got it." Like it's no big deal. It's
Mhm.
but there is that fine line of saying, "Hey, how can I be compassionately assertive
Yeah.
and not like aggressive asshole?"
Yeah.
So
I'm
it just
trying
takes
to
some-
learn that. In relationships, I'm definitely trying to learn
Right.
that.
You okay over there, youngin?
She's just
Mhm.
They-
She's just
mesmerized.
chilling. She wants some of that whiskey
Sir Daddy's
Didn't they
girl.
used to do that in the back in the day? Like,
Just dip her
on their
pacifier.
gums.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yep,
said
yep.
it was for teething, but I think it was to make them sleep.
good night.
Yeah.
I've heard some people recently talk about doing that. So I mean,
That's because you're from Chilton County. That's
Yeah.
why.
They also used to use heroin for the common cold. So I mean, we don't have to
And
go
Coke
back to
was
Coke was in
actually
Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
My dad's mother, I was a colicky baby, and
Mm.
she told my mom to put a little bit of gunpowder in my
Gunpowder?
bottle. And my mom was like, yeah, and just don't get her next to an open flame.
Gunpowder. I haven't heard that one. I'm gonna look into that
is that how
one.
you get the nickname Spitfire?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
That's what I'm calling it. So I guess for the people who are listening in and watching, give us a little bit of background on who you are.
Yeah. So, I was living here in Shelby. I'm from Alabama. I grew up in Birmingham and was going to UAB when 9/11 happened. Never went back to class. Went in. I have an uncle that was in Vietnam who always told me to go airborne infantry, so it'd be right up front. That was before there was a possibility of a war.
Right.
But I took those words to heart. Ended up with the 101st out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Served under General Petraeus. Was in the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Went back in 2005 and was in the Triangle of Death and was injured and lost my left arm and left leg. And that's what later on helped me get attention because I decided, okay, I got to get back into shape. I went several years of depression and struggles and getting out of shape. And once I got back into shape, I started running races and doing all these different things to get attention. Not to get attention, but I was getting attention
Right.
and loving it. So it was a little
Yeah.
hand in hand. I was like, oh, this is fun. I like how everyone loves, because when I started doing like tough mudders and Spartan races,
Yeah.
people there all knew me. Like I was taking selfies with people all the time. They all knew who I was before anyone else did. I started
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
this following. And then I made the cover of Men's Health, which was 10 years ago this November.
Oh, wow.
And I'd forgotten about that. Well, I didn't forget about Men's Health. Like I got several copies of it. I was called the Ultimate Guy.
One of your
Yeah.
legit.
But
He misspelled our name when he signed it.
you know, we're such good friends.
Yeah.
Oh, we can fix that. Men's Health reached out to me the other day and was like, "Hey, I don't know if you realize it, but it's 10 years since you're on our cover, and we have some big plans, and wanted to know if you want to be involved." I'm like, "Yes!" Like immediately was like, "Yes." What do I do? And because it is, I told him that was one of the biggest accomplishments that I had,
Yeah.
because prior to getting injured, I used to tell people in the military, I was on the cover of Men's Health one day. Believe it or not, I was a very arrogant person. And and I would say stuff like that. Well, then I got injured, and then I started exercising and finding ways to work out, and then started running those races. And I was like, I feel like there's a legit reason, maybe not to be on the cover, but to be a story.
Yeah.
And so then when I made the cover and they called me the Ultimate Guy, like that was a huge deal for me. Like I had a lot of guys in the military reaching out to me that were like, "You used to say you were going to be on the cover of Men's Health."
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
that is what spring-loaded me onto Ellen, which then all these shows wanted me, Survivor, all these different things. I turned them down because my kids were young. Dancing with the Stars wanted me. I didn't even want to do the show. So I gladly was like, I can't do it. I got to stay
Right.
here in Alabama. And they're like, "No problem. We'll send the dancer to you." So we rehearsed every week in Cahaba Heights off of 280
Oh,
right
I
here in
thought you were
I
Birmingham.
actually
did
out
not
there.
know that.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, people didn't realize it. If I was in a store, people were like, "What are you doing here? Like, shouldn't you be like rehearsing?"
Wait,
But
is
we-
this all fake?
Yeah. So we'd fly back and forth to LA for the live show. And
wow.
I thought I'd only do like maybe 2 weeks. Did all 10 weeks and came in third place. So it was
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that I did it now. Like
Definitely.
looking back, I still reach out to, I stay in contact with my dance partner, Shauna Burgess, but Dina Katz, the executive producer that talked me into it, I still reach out to her randomly and just thank her. I'll just text her.
Yeah.
Like, "Thank you. You have changed
That's
me and my
awesome. Yeah,
family's life,
absolutely.
and I'm still benefiting from it."
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I think Dancing with the Stars, I think we were on the same plane one time.
Yeah.
When we were grounded, backed up, and I think I tweeted you. It was like, "Hey, I need you to pull some of that."
He told me that.
like get this pilot going.
I think you told me about that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like I said something about Zach, and you're like, I think he tweeted me on
It was
the
just
plane.
random. Like
Like-
I had seen you in line. I was like, okay. I was like, that's cool because I don't remember where we're flying. I was
Yeah.
flying out west somewhere, and the plane was grounded for like an hour. I was like, no, you got to do something, man. Like pull some strings.
That's awesome. I remember times of being like, especially what was great about being on a plane and like responding to people in
Mhm.
tweets. I loved it. Now I'm the worst. I don't do it intentionally. My social media.
Well, Twitter's not a thing anymore.
Well, not Twitter, but just responding to
Yes.
people. Yeah, it's actually but just responding to people
Well, having a
Yeah.
toddler,
does make it harder.
it makes
Yeah.
it much harder.
And then I overthink. I'm like, if there'll be a whole bunch of comments, I'm like, well, I'm gonna respond. If I respond to this person, I better
Yes,
respond to that person.
right.
Then I'll think, what am I
Yes.
going to say to that person? I'm like, well, I got to say something really deep to this person. So then I'm like, well, I'll think about it. Then it's like 2 months have gone by. I'm like, well, I can't respond to it now. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
Social media has created that whole level of anxiety of interacting with someone is
Yeah.
just not organic anymore.
Well,
Well, it's
I
helpful when you have that. Don't give up.
Yeah, well, I think what's really helped me lately is to realize social media is different. People aren't getting the tons of likes they did before.
Mhm.
It's all about creating something that you hope one of those things will get traction and take off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My best video on I've got like 7 different pages I run for different things and
Mhm.
competitions. So my best post ever was me doing a deadlift, and all it was because everybody was talking shit in the comments. Like, "Oh, you're wearing a suit. Oh, you're wearing you're using straps. You're doing a
Yeah.
high pull." I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
And I responded to every single one of them, and it just
took
drove
off.
me through.
Yeah.
That shit got me paid $50. That
Oh,
was the only time I ever got paid from social media.
that's not. Wait a minute, you get paid from social media?
You can.
I've always turned. You know what? I have people that reach out. Those.
It'll be through the system.
Okay, because like I
Yeah.
didn't. We've got a couple of them. Our videos that have taken off have always been of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got some that just I constantly get updates
Oh yeah.
on reels that are of the baby.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, he was doing a deadlift of like something insane, like 800-900 pounds or something like that for reps. And he had his kid and a bouncer that was hanging from the gym garage.
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Oldham.
Odom. Yeah.
And it got like millions of views.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's one of my best performing videos out there because it's just a kid.
Yeah, I saw that video.
All right,
Yeah, it was a
let's
great
put
video.
her in the front.
Right.
Yeah.
See,
That's right.
baby,
Yeah.
See the baby. You get her doing a deadlift soon.
be extra cute.
She's like, I don't know how to turn it off.
That's right. So what are you doing these days?
So now I do a lot of speaking. That's why I was in Philly. You know, I have people reach out to me that are trying to figure out ways to put me on TV. I'm like, hopefully one day it happens. You know, I don't get too excited. No, I'm lying. I get excited
Shay.
every time. Every time. Yeah. I'm like, yes, what if this happens? And then it doesn't. I'm like, well, it never does. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't, like they say, like when I've done casting calls, actors have told me like, do it and then forget about it. Because they're looking for a specific thing.
Yeah.
You know, eye color, hair color, everything has to line up. So you can't take offense to it. But it's cool that people are still reaching out. That's what I'm surprised by. I thought by now, in fact, I was actually with my prosthetist. You know, he makes all my prosthetic limbs. He's been with me since way before any of this
I'm glad you
happened.
clarified that because what went through my head was not.
I know prosthetist, it gets very
Has nothing to
similar,
do with the prostate.
or prostitutes.
I was thinking prostitutes. You see the guys and the girls difference.
Yeah, and I have a funny story about that. I'll share it. But he said the other day that he was actually impressed that things were still going in a positive way because he thought, you know, it would go up and go down over just a course of a couple of years. So thankfully it is still, I mean, I'm not, you know, doing big stuff, but it's still providing a life for me and my family with a business that I'm able to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What I really love is I just recently got a contract with F45, which is functional fitness in 45 minutes. It's high intensity interval training. It's a boutique gym, just like Orange Theory. Orange Theory started in Florida. F45 started in Australia. So it's worked its way across the globe. And Mark Wahlberg and Tom Dowd, who used to be the CEO of GNC, bought it. And after they bought it, I cornered Tom Dowd and basically was like, you need to pay me to go to all your locations and work out. Not that it's me, but you take a guy missing an arm and a leg who pushes himself, it motivates people. Anywhere I've ever been, coaches have said that, whether it's Orange Theory, CrossFit, whatever, they've said people push themselves harder because you were here.
Yeah.
And so I was pushing this concept to him to pay me to work out. And, you know, he's still questioning it.
Yeah.
But I think what sold it was the last thing he said to me was, what do you want to get out of this? And I said, I want people to think F45 belongs to Noah Galloway. And I knew right then that he realized what I was saying. I don't want to own F45. I don't even want to own my own franchise. I mean, I wouldn't mind one day, but like, I don't have that dedication to stay in one place.
Right.
Y'all know how that is. But he knew that I love health and fitness. I want to spread that message and I want to use F45 to do it.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do. Y'all understand exactly how that is. We're a room full of people that, you know, what I love about it, I tell other coaches all the time, I'm like, gyms could go away completely and we're going to work out regardless, or however we want to, we're going to do it. But there's a large population of people who do not know how to work out. They're scared to try it. They don't know anything about it. And those are the people that we get excited about coming across. You know, I mean, you specialize with strong men and women, but it's the same thing when someone new comes in.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point of the competition we're doing next week is
To
get people who don't know what they're doing or are scared to do it to come and try it out.
I mean,
I was-
it is. It's about education and empowerment.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it's crazy because I have one of my coworkers, you know, she was trying to get back into fitness and stuff. So I just made her like this basic plan. And I was like, hey, it's on you to stay disciplined enough to do it. And she did it. And she's been doing it for like weeks and weeks and weeks. She's like, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to show me how it's done.
Yeah, because, you know, to
Because most
us,
people don't-
it's simple.
Oh, yeah. We're like,
But
oh, yeah,
simple,
cool.
we think about, you
I was
know,
talking to Alex about that just the other day. It's like
Yeah.
people ask a question and I'm like, does it really not make sense to you?
Yeah.
Right.
But I guess because I'm in
it
the
does.
field.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Because we're, yeah.
100%, we
Yeah.
do this every
Yeah.
day. Like, it blows my mind. Sometimes people ask a simple question. To me, it's simple, but it's not really simple.
Right.
I was listening. I thought one day, the other day, I thought I was going to listen to a science podcast and maybe get smarter. Within 5 minutes, I was like, okay, this isn't. They started talking about like that. One person asked the guest what his favorite, what are what, I don't even know how to describe, what's the it's not a periodic table. Is that what it is?
Element.
Element,
What's
what's your favorite element? They went on about how much he loves carbon and this and that. And I'm like, what in the world are they talking about? But that's the same thing that when people hear us, if we get overly excited about fitness, they're just like, what?
Yeah.
You know, so we have to simplify it because it's not that these people aren't intelligent.
Oh yeah.
Right.
They're just, this isn't their world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they need to realize that it can be and it should be, because health and fitness is it's going to benefit everything in your life.
100%.
And then on top of it, health and fitness, we're just like every other cult. We are happy. We want everyone else to be happy with us.
We're a little healthier cult. But
Yeah, but it's the same thing. I tell you what, fitness is such a passion to me that, I mean, I was this close to just going door to door and asking people, have you accepted fitness into your life today? Like that's, like that's where I am with it.
But it's important. I think, especially Alabama, we're so on the back burner of
Yeah.
health and wellness.
we're not the
So,
last, but we are
We're
close.
close. We're like
Mississippi.
48,
Next to last.
48,
48.
Yeah.
No, I think actually I had this conversation with somebody earlier. I think we're at like 44.
Okay, we're doing a little better. We're doing a little better.
We're progressing.
When did that start happening? Ellison Fitness.
That's,
Yeah, I mean, hey,
there's a direct
There's a correlation. Yeah.
you know, he talked about F45. I'm the knockoff Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, there you go. It
I
all
mean,
ties
you
in
could
together.
pull it off.
I had a guy.
Remember him
stop
in
me.
Fear with black shirt?
Please don't say that.
Forever. Is that what that's the same movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did
That's
have a
old
guy-
school.
That was my first Wahlberg movie, I think.
I want to
think it
say
was-
that was what year did that come out?
Oh, it was like 90. I don't know, but it was the early 90s.
Yeah.
I think. But I just remember him in the jeans and the tight black shirt. I'm like, man, that dude looks good ripped like that.
I don't see it at all, like zero. But I got stopped at the DMV one time, and this guy was like, "Dude, you know who you look like?" And I was like, "I knew it was coming." And he's like, "That guy." And I said it. He goes, "No, no, no." And he said the guy from Beautiful Mind, or not Beautiful Mind, Good Will Hunting.
Matt Damon?
Yeah, he said Matt Damon. I'm like,
I see Matt Damon more than I see
Yeah.
Wahlberg.
I was like, I don't know. I never got that before. He goes, "Yeah, the guy from Ted." I was like, "No, that's Mark Wahlberg."
Oh, yeah.
I get Jesus more. When I had my beard, it was not as long as yours before I shaved it
Yeah.
last week.
I can see
But I mean,
that.
like, and I
And
also
the hair down.
I also deal with a lot of psychiatric patients, and so there's a lot.
They think the same.
I don't mean to laugh at that.
No, but it's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you have a light
that's a
sitting behind
base
you when you talk to them?
delusion. No, I have to clarify, and every single week it's like I am not Jesus. I promise you.
Or
Maybe
ask
get the
him, will this
picture
help
down.
if I am?
Right?
I get
It
people
may
that
be
are like,
good to like fall into this delusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I'll have people every so often, they're like, you were on American Idol, weren't you? I was like, I was not.
Close. Not the
I was
same.
on a reality TV show, yes, a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
time ago. So yeah. In fact, there's AL.com right now is doing this, came out of nowhere, this competition of pitting up us reality show stars in Alabama together, which part of me is a little bothered by it. I'm
Apparently,
like,
there's a lot of Alabama.
oh
reality
yeah,
stars,
no,
though.
there is.
I didn't
There
know
We've
that.
is.
had
They would have
several
many.
Idol winners.
Yeah. And I think it's
and-
because we get excited when someone's on TV.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so we support it and we vote for them like we've had, and
Right.
so they
Yeah.
started pitting us together, and I was like, I'm not even going to chime in on this. I don't want to get my feelings hurt and see who I'm gonna lose to. Well, I made it to the top 4, and you've got Taylor Hicks and
I-
Bo Bice
Oh, yeah.
against each
I
other,
forget
Yeah.
about that.
which I'm glad I didn't have to go up against either one of them,
Right.
because who I am losing to is Lionel Richie. Which is like, wait, he's way more famous, but people are chiming in saying he's not a reality star,
No.
but he's a
He's
a
a
host.
judge.
He's a
Now.
judge.
He's on now.
Yeah, which I'm like, but and I don't know if
But
he's,
that's the Commodores. You can't.
and I think, I wonder what the background of Alabama is to him. Like, I knew that he's lived here, but I don't know if he's from here.
Like born and raised. I
Yeah.
don't know.
From Montgomery, right? Like,
I think he was like, yeah, but I know, like, I was with him during the World Games. And what's cool is him and his wife know who I am.
yeah.
Like, I was in the hallway and his wife goes, Noah. I'm like, oh. You know,
That was a good feel.
yeah, I was like, awesome. So I'm losing to him, but at least they know who I am. I made it into that
Well, if I had
category.
to lose to someone,
Yeah.
I know Richie's
Right.
one to lose to.
Yeah.
Man, I was in high school and I'm dating myself, but high school, Bo Bice was the runner-up, and
Yeah.
I had hair to my ass. And when I let it hang down, I put on glasses. I was clean shaven. I kind of favored him,
Yeah.
from a distance. So we did a
He was the one on
Chilton
Idol
County
that had
Idol,
long hair.
and it was
He made it
all the top singers from this county came to this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
school. And
Third or
my
fourth cycle.
science class teacher, he knew that I like would let my hair down
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
And he's like, let's dress you up like Bo Bice.
Yeah.
So my mom went and got it this like flowery long shirt and some loose fitting jeans. And we let my hair down, put some sunglasses on. And all he did was like, he got out there on stage. He goes, we got a special guest in here tonight. Bo Bice came down. And he's like, just walk out, wave. I'm going to say you got some laryngitis or something. You can't talk.
And then walk off.
And it walk off. So I walked out, I waved, and everybody went nuts. You thought like everybody really thought it was me,
Yeah.
except for the people from my
But-
school.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the other schools in the county didn't know. So I walk off stage and I'm sitting there on the side talking to somebody, and this girl, she comes up, and I felt so bad for bursting a bubble. She's like, Mr. Bice, and she was shaking. She goes, "Can I have your autograph?" I was like, "I'm so sorry, I'm not him." I was like, I just
You
had to
should
tell.
have signed it Joe Bice or something like that.
What a sad story you just
I know.
shared. Like, I feel bad for that girl.
I
He
know.
told me this on our first date, and it did not have the effect he thought it was going
Let's
to have.
edit.
No,
Can we take this out of the podcast?
Like in my mind, I was like, if I sign
You
this,
jerk.
she's gonna.
From now on, tell people that you did sign it.
Why would I lie to the girl? I didn't.
Yeah, I don't
want
know if
her-
that's any better. I don't know which one's better.
Like I don't know which one's better or worse. Like I was trying to be.
She will be delusioned for the rest of her life that she got Bo Bice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because people, I mean, we all have stories of when I met this person,
Yeah.
and they may not have been that person.
I
Who
feel
knows?
bad though. Like I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about like right after I was on Dance with the Stars, like no people that are fans of those shows, they get heavily invested. Like for several years after the show, I would meet people and they would be shaking when we take pictures. Like they'd be like they were so excited.
That's so
One time I was in the Seattle airport, and this woman, like when I always go to my gate first before I go to anywhere else. It's like,
You
get to
gotta
my
make sure
gate,
it's there.
make sure I'm there. All right. Now I'll find somewhere to eat, whatever. And I walk past my gate and I see this woman on her phone look at me, and I see her mouth go, "Oh my God, it's Noah Galloway." Like I see her say it, and I walk by, and then I go and I get something to drink, and I come back, and I'm standing, my back is to the monitoring board. And I see the woman's pacing by in front of me, and I see her phone is on camera in selfie mode. Like she is ready, just trying. And then she even stops right in front of me, and I look at her, and she just looks at the board. I'm like, dang. I was like, all right. So then we're getting on the plane, and I'm right behind her. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say something to her. Like I'm trying not to be that guy that's saying, "Hey, you want to take a picture with me?" But I'm trying to ease it. She's in all purple. She has a purple bag and purple highlights in her hair. So I go,
Miss Perp.
I bet I can guess your favorite color. And she is, and that's it. Well, then she sits down. She's a couple of rows behind me. No, a couple of rows in front of me. Because at one point, I look up and she's looking back right at me. When I look at her, she just sits down. And when we got off the plane, she was gone. And I was like, dang, I would have loved to have met that person and
Yeah.
taken a picture with her.
She probably got multiple pictures of you.
Oh,
For the record. She does.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to catch people all the time that would take pictures, or they like have their phone in selfie mode. They're not in the picture, and then they're. And if I ever catch it, I'd point
I
or
love
wave.
that. I love that
That's
so
funny.
much.
Yeah. Did Amanda know who you were before?
She's never watched Dancing with the Stars, but she reached out to me because I was on the cover of Men's Health. She had some impactful moments as a yoga instructor working with veterans. And so she reached out to me wanting to work with veterans and their families. So, and then I was in New York, same time she was visiting her mom, and we met and then connected, and she was on her way to moving out to Venice Beach out in LA. So anytime I was out there, I'd see her. Once I got her to come out to Alabama. And then the end of 2019, we started talking more, and then COVID happened. I was like, come to Alabama. And I was like, you should stay here. Let's go pack your stuff. And just drove it back across the United States, and then got married and then had a baby.
Yeah.
That's
That's
where we're at
awesome.
now. Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way. How old are you?
17 months. My oldest is 19 in the Coast Guard, living in the Hamptons.
No.
My 17-year-old is going to graduate a year early, 2 years of college already knocked
That's
out.
Oh, wow.
My daughter, she's 14 in the 8th grade, just enjoying life. And then I got the 17-month-old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Start all over.
Yeah. And I love it, though. Being in my 40s and being a parent is so much better. And I've told my older kids that. I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing as a parent for them when they were younger.
Mhm.
Like I know I made tons of mistakes, And how I am as a parent now is how I am with them as a parent now is different. And now with the baby, like it's so much better. And I'm more established, I have
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
to devote to the baby. Not everybody has that kind of time. My wife, especially, like she has dedicated everything to the baby. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Is she still doing the like retreat thing?
she's just been really focusing on the baby. Like she helps with my company, and then she's been able to just focus on the baby.
That's
And it's
awesome.
been,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah. I have siblings that are 21, 18, and 9 years older than me.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, you know
it was
what?
A
Yeah.
great way to
Like clarify, 21 years older, not just
said
20.
that.
No, you
Yeah.
said 21 and then 9 years older. I was like, somebody could misunderstand that thinking you have a sibling
Oh.
21.
Oh yeah, I did.
No, they're
He's right.
21 years older than me. So having
Oh,
siblings
okay, no,
that
yeah,
are,
okay, yeah.
that are much older, it's
Yep.
cool. I was an aunt at
Mhm.
like 4 months old.
Yeah.
and-
Well, and just the
So-
way the older kids are with the baby,
Yeah.
like they
Yeah.
love him.
We got lucky. Our 3-year-old is obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We were very
Loves
worried
her.
that she was going to be like, baby's getting too much attention.
Yeah.
No, this is my baby.
Oh, my daughter, before I married Amanda, like she was very adamant about I couldn't even date anybody that had kids. She, she definitely didn't want anybody that had girls. She wanted to be the
Yeah.
only girl. She liked being the only girl. So when we got married and then had a baby, she had just gotten old. She just crossed over that age where suddenly she's like,
It
oh,
was yeah.
I may need to fix her.
You want to get that?
But if you don't mind, cut this out.
Y'all gonna have more?
No. It is we're gonna cut this out so much. It's physiologically impossible now.
Yeah.
My body does not like going from being pregnant to not.
Right, yeah.
I have evidently it was a dormant autoimmune disease that I did not know I had until I gave birth to the first one.
Yeah.
And my body reacted very poorly
Mhm.
to that. And so we're happy with our 2 girls, and
Do you want me to cut this out for real? Because I mean,
we can keep it.
I
I,
mean,
don't care.
that's an interesting. thing.
I had to have a reverse vasectomy of 13 years.
I didn't think it was possible after like 10.
Well, so I went to my doctor and was like, hey, we want to try to have a baby. I want to get my vasectomy reversed. I know that the probability is low, but I want to give it a shot. And first thing he said was, I'm glad you know that. He's like, we'll do it. But yeah, the chances are. And then he got super excited because he was this young doctor. And at the VA, ain't no young people. Nobody's getting a reverse vasectomy at the VA.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I got my vasectomy, it was like they're just like these old men. Like every time I'm at
Right.
urology, I am the youngest person there. They're like, do you
yes,
have trouble peeing yourself? I'm like, I do not. So it was this doctor got super excited
Yeah.
because he told me, oh, I've never done one of these
Right.
before. None of my friends have even had the chance yet. I'm like, oh, you're not helping. Well, I went into it pretty cocky
Yeah.
because I told my wife, I was like, look, when I had my vasectomy, it was in and out. I drove myself home. I didn't even go to sleep. They didn't put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Like I was
Having
awake.
conversation.
Yeah, I did. In
Like,
fact, I made
that
them
was
show
true.
me what they cut out.
It
So-
looks like spaghetti.
Then
What?
I never
It
thought
does.
about it that way. Sure
It looks like
does.
spaghetti.
It does. They could have lied to me.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
You're welcome. I had my tubes removed,
Oh.
so he didn't have to do that.
Well,
He offered, but
for my
I did.
reversal was 4 hours in surgery,
Oh,
and I came out and was miserable for 2 weeks, just bruised and because they have to find those lines.
right.
I was
Then
so
connect
I've
them.
never thought about this. I know how a vasectomy works. How do they reverse it?
They find
They
them and just put them back
reconnect it.
together. And I'm not going to get into detail because I don't know how exactly it works, but then it takes several months to see if it worked, if
Yeah.
it went.
Yeah.
And after a couple of months, still firing blanks. So then she was like, let's go see a fertility doctor. So we went and saw a fertility doctor, and the fertility doctor was like, they did an x-ray on her, and they're like, okay, you have a polyp on your ovary that can act like a natural IUD.
Yep.
So we're going to remove that. Simple 1-day surgery. So we scheduled that, and he says, while we're doing that, Noah, I'm going to put you on some medicine. This will really help kickstart this. Oh my God. I was having hot flashes, moody, like it wrecked me, but it seemed to work. All right. We're coming up on this surgery date.
Mhm.
And my wife's stepmom, who's been her stepmom since she was like 9 or 10, very close to her, she was dying of cancer. And so we had gone in the fall. Her dying wish was to see the whales, and we all went to Maui. And I told her though, I was like, we're not going to see them. They're not there in the fall. They're there in the winter, early January, February. So we go anyway because we think she was going to make it through the holidays. So we go. Well, then it's right after the holidays. She's still there. That sounds bad. Like she's still hanging around. No. Thankfully, she was still with us, and they didn't know about the surgery. They didn't know any of that. Well, I made the comment, I've got a friend who has a house in Cabo, and that's where the whales are right now. And she's like, will you call him and ask him if we can go? And I'm like, and I'm the worst. Like, I hate asking people for anything. I'm like,
That's a huge ask.
I was like, okay. So I stepped in the other room. I'm like, hey, man, listen. And I gave him the backstory. He's like, done. He's like, too easy. Yes. He's like, so we set it up, and it's the week that we're supposed to have the surgery. So we don't tell anybody. We just push the surgery back a month. And we go out to Cabo. We're there. The whales are there. Well, my buddy who has this house on the water charters yachts. So he puts us on one.
Yeah.
Well, when I tell you so we are riding into the sunset on a yacht that has, we're being served drinks. We're having sashimi, all that. Riding into the sunset with whales on each side of us.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, we could all die right here and it's okay. Well, the best part of this is not only did we experience that, but before she passed away, we really wanted to get pregnant, and we actually got pregnant on that trip without any other help. So because afterwards she kept saying something done. I was like, we'll take a test. Let's see what happened. And then, so we were able to tell her before she passed
That's
away
amazing.
that
That
we're
is
having
awesome.
a baby.
Yeah.
And it
Gives you chills.
was a huge moment. So
That
it
is
was great.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here
happy
going, was
for
it sperm whales? Motion of the ocean?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think they were. No, I don't know what kind of whales they were. Now I'm wondering what they were. I think they
It
were.
was that Moby Dick.
Yeah. We did.
That's where I was going with the sperm whales.
I know. And I was thinking, I'll find out what those whales were.
That's
This
awesome.
is gonna have a lot of good sound bites.
Oh,
When's this going to come out? It's going to be not.
It'll probably be a month. From
Okay.
now,
So it
'cause-
won't be before this weekend's.
No.
Is the 27th this weekend?
Yep, it's gonna
Okay.
be-
I'm excited about it. Like I tell people all the time, especially when I meet people that are into fitness or like I told you, there's a girl at the Y who works the front desk who just like, she's into, what do they call it when they're not bodybuilders, but they do.
powerlifting?
No. They do shows like figure
Oh,
physique.
physique.
Yeah.
Which, is like, but she loves fitness. And then one day she said something about how she's kind of just in between. I was like, why don't you try strongman competitions and just see what you think about it?
Mhm.
So then there's a guy that I talked to today that I'm going to try to get to come with. Now that I'm going to be in town, I'm going to try to come.
Awesome.
The not the Indy 500. There's the Barbers races going on the same
Yeah.
weekend.
So we've picked the date kind of, it was by chance, but we've continued it for the same reason. The NASCAR races and all the races tend to be like Talladega, or
This
I think it was this
weekend,
Yeah, it
weekend.
was
Yeah,
this past weekend.
the Indy
Or
500.
this weekend.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's all on the same weekend. And I looked at it historically. April 20th through the 27th is typically the least amount of chance of rain in
Oh,
Alabama. Like,
that's why
on
they
average.
choose it too, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
100%.
I've said we're going to keep it the same, like 7-day window from now on. There's a few other shows that we kind of get close to and cross over with, but
And it's
luckily
been
they're out of
beautiful
state.
every single
Yes,
time.
we-
So
That's awesome.
Knock on
Yeah.
wood, we've never had a bad day with that.
other than some sunburn.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah. The
last one,
first one I helped.
the last one,
Was it the last
the
one?
last
was
one,
last
the
year.
effing.
Oh, was it
It was
last year?
last year.
Out in the
Yeah.
parking lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was burnt.
I don't know. I was just spraying sunscreen on everyone who'd walk by me.
Yeah, we got more tents this year, but it's going to be out here. I'll have all
in
four
the
of these-
middle of the.
Yeah, between the
Okay.
two buildings. But I'll have all 4 mics. One will be dedicated to me, just kind of calling out stuff. But if you show up, I'll give you a mic and we can just talk.
Yeah, no, I'm all for. I love. I will tell you this: that first year that you let me come and MC your
Mhm.
event.
You're always welcome to do that. by
Oh,
the
I
way.
mean, I loved it. I didn't know if you just didn't like it. That's why when I was like, well, you got somebody else doing it.
no,
Okay.
I ain't got nobody else to do it. I just I feel guilty asking people favors.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but no, I enjoy it. Like I am all for it. Like I love being part of anything. Oh my gosh, she's out. She's like, y'all are boring.
We'll we'll do it. And if you come to this one next weekend, we'll do it a little more back and forth because that'll help you
Yeah.
kind of have some interaction to know what to say and stuff. Because there are some times where like I want something specifically said, and instead of running over to you to like,
You can do it.
I
Yeah.
can just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you the first thing I learned from being part of that was the night before, when people were coming in, getting their stuff, checking in, and I got home and I told my wife, I was like, I don't know. I was like, these guys, like, they seemed kind of stuck up. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Like maybe they didn't like me or, I was all in my head.
Yeah.
Well, then the next day I was part of it and I went home and I was like, oh no, I had it all wrong. These guys are such introverts.
I had such a hard time getting into the community because I'm like, hey, how are you? What's your name? I'm Chuck's wife. Da, da, da. And they would just,
Yeah, you think
and
at
I
first,
thought they were just being
yeah,
assholes.
yeah.
The
And then I
very first
realized
show I ever
that
did was Alabama Strongman, and I'm friends with almost everybody that was at that show now. But at that show, it felt like I was coming off as a dick to everybody because I'd come up and start talking to them, and they just like turn around and walk away. I'm like,
Well, it's such a solo sport.
Yeah, it is.
You
I
know
mean,
what
you
I'm
get
saying?
why
it
people.
is, but it's also a team sport too. 'Cause,
Right.
like, after you get past that barrier,
Right.
you're lifetime friends. Like the guys
100%.
now, we do videos together on like live chats and
Yeah.
stuff.
But you don't have to interact if you don't want to. So it probably draws people
Yeah.
in that aren't as
Oh, yeah.
outgoing.
Oh, I'll tell you, after doing that, like, what's his name that has the red beard shirts?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Jeremy.
yeah.
Like, I'm surprised I'm not wearing it. I think it's because I just washed it this morning. Like, in fact, I need to buy another one. I wear it more than I do
a good
my
logo.
own stuff.
It's a
And
good
people,
logo.
then people
Yeah.
think it's mine.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, even though you're not drinking, we can get you one of these shirts, the whiskey weights and Whey.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, but no, like those guys. Yeah, after I got to know them,
Oh,
I was like, yeah, they're just
Yeah.
very big introverts and just awesome. I love those
It was the
guys.
same way with the ultra running community.
Yeah,
When you're ultra running, like you're spending hours alone.
days.
But it could be days alone. But it's like it is a team effort when it's all said and done. But once you get in, like people just open up.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
most of my closest friends have come from me running solo and then bumping into somebody, being able to open up a little bit. Now we're just like, hey, there's something beautiful about everybody doing the same thing and like working really hard, suffering through some pain. Like it connects you in a weird way.
that stuff is impressive. Like when I was doing Tough Mudders and Spartan races, like people are like, oh my god. But I was always like, no, there are people that do these crazier races. Like there are no obstacles. It's just they're running for a long time.
Because it's
'Cause
mental. It's like
Yeah,
it
it
gives you a
is.
freaking
There's
head.
nothing to break it up like
No.
an obstacle.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I've always been impressed. I've done 4 marathons and those are miserable. So
Yeah.
to do something and then take it off the hardball and then doing it on a trail and then
Right.
do it like that's impressive. I always thought it was cool that people like you do it. Y'all are just weird.
We are weird. Like I'm here for it though.
No, it's awesome.
You're the reason why I did my first mud run.
Yeah.
I did the Warrior Dash.
Is that
It
the
was
one in
because
Georgia?
right after you did, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was me, you, Matt, and Matt.
Yeah, 2 maps.
It was 3 target
Was
guys.
it Team Ramrod?
Yeah, Team
Was it
Ramrod.
Team Ramrod?
We spray painted Ramrod on our chests.
Yeah.
From Super Troopers.
Warrior
Like that stuff didn't come off for a week.
No.
Dash was the first
Yeah,
obstacle course I did.
I think that's why we did it.
Yeah,
Like that was
in
one
Georgia.
Kind of got known for, and Tough Mudder was one you got.
Tough Mudder's the one I got known for. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Warrior Dash was the first one, and we were like, "Oh, let's do that." Because
Somebody
it was a
do something like
5K.
that.
Tough Mudder was a
Yeah,
10K. So
I've been saying I want to do another. 'Cause we
There's a
did rugged.
barbarian challenge that we like in June or
it's like
July.
the 1 weekend of
Oh, really?
June that we
Yeah.
don't have something planned.
Let's
We were
do
talking
it.
about going to Huntsville for
I've
my
been,
birthday. but-
I've been really wanting to do another. 'Cause the last one we did
Barbarian
was
Challenge.
Rugged Maniac was the
Some
last
Gadsden
one.
That's
Yeah.
or something
And
like
it
that.
has a brutal heel that is I'd hope they still use it. There's a heel that is just straight up. And I did a Tough Mudder in Georgia, and then the next weekend did the Barbarian Challenge, which is shorter.
Yeah.
And I had several people that recognized me from the Tough. They were like, they're at the Tough Mudder also, and they're like, "Was this harder?" I was like, "Oh yeah."
I will say
Hopefully they have the hill.
the Warrior Dash was such a draw to me. We did it like 3 years total. Me and you did it twice, and then I took you to do it when we were early on in our relationship. I
Mhm.
think we had just got married or something. We were
Yeah,
newlyweds or like before we got married. and it's just in the beautiful. It's like Blue Ridge Mountain.
And anyone,
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
can do
Gorge-
it.
Yeah,
You
Right.
can make it competitive and try to sprint it,
and it was always
or it can be unintimidating.
Yeah.
And because I had never done
Just
one.
fun with your friends. I think
Yeah, it was
it's like
so
I
much
get like
fun.
super competitive when I do ultras, but at the same time, it's like when we did that, it's like, hey, I'm here with like 3 people
Yeah,
I
just
care
have
about and just want to
fun.
have a
Yeah.
good time. It was just like I don't have to worry about my time. I don't have to worry. I'm
Yeah.
just like
Just enjoy
enjoying
it.
the
Enjoy it.
event
It was
movement.
So much
perfect.
fun.
Like the
Yeah.
weather, it was not hot, but it was warm.
Yeah.
And when you jumped in that water, it was
Oh,
like
that
an ice
lake.
bath.
That
Yeah.
lake.
Oh, but when I came
that was
out-
the only hard part though.
Leading into the lake, I was dying. Like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make this whole time. I get out of the lake, it was like an ice bath. I come out, I'm like, let's run this whole damn.
Yeah.
Like, we got 3 miles to go. Let's sprint. And I felt great afterwards. We actually had to go back. One of our friends was with us, and we had to go back for him at one point. And no, I love the Warrior Dash, but then we did
The
the
Rugged
Rugged Maniac.
Maniac was so much fun.
It
Yeah,
was.
I
It
hadn't
had
done that.
It's
twice,
a newer
it
one.
had-
It's
it was
kind of
twice
like
the
a,
length and twice the amount of obstacles.
no, it's the same
And
length. It was a 5K.
There's just more obstacles.
It was
I
just
thought
more
it
obstacles.
Was a 10K.
No, it was still a 5K.
It wasn't 6 months.
It was a 5K. It just had double the obstacles, which
I thought.
I wanted because
Was it
the
here?
running is what I hate.
I don't. You know what?
Georgia
Tough
also.
Mudder always has a gap
Yeah.
of a long run, and it's always the
I
worst
hate
part.
that.
for
The
me.
Warrior Dash and the Tough Mudder
Hate running.
both started off with like a 1 mile run through the woods, and I was like, "This is miserable." And we get to the first event, I'm like, "I'm fine now." Like just one. We had to do one of the events at the Rugged Maniac was you had to do a hand over hand pull to lift something to the top,
Yep.
and then let it drop down. Like you just sit there and use your upper body. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So that would, I'd say, isn't
And we did it
Spartan
as a
have like
team,
the
too.
beast where it's like an ultra
So
marathon?
okay, they have what's called the
Yes.
Ultra Beast, which
Ultra
is a
Beast.
marathon distance. I've done it
Yeah.
during a race. I did their biggest race, which is the Death Race. The Death Race is in the mountains of Vermont, and what's always gotten people in the past. I don't know if they still do it, but you never know when it's going to end. The cadre work in shifts. They're on you day and night. You don't rest. And so I showed up, 100 of us. I'm the only one with, an injury. And this is right before I made Men's Health. 80 people quit and 20 of us finished at 58 hours.
Holy.
And that was a huge moment for me because it told me, one, I didn't know if I was going to make it. I didn't know if I still had that grit.
Yeah.
Right.
So it told me that, one, and two, it told me that 80 people quit here
Yeah.
because they had every limb, they had everything prepared,
Mhm.
and they shut down. They know that. Like that's nothing. I'm not picking at them. That happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
Glad there wasn't something that caused me to reach that point.
Yeah.
But I
Makes
didn't.
winning a little sweeter though.
Oh
right?
my God. Yeah. Oh, and what was really cool was the cadre, after it was over, suddenly they went from being like jerks to they were like drill sergeants to all coming up to me like, dude, you're amazing. Like that was, I was like, I can
Right.
keep going. They're like, you said I can keep going. But then it's like I passed out after that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
What was cool is like there was a guy that ran the Ultra Beast. He's an ultra runner. His name's Stu. He's in somewhere outside of Pittsburgh or somewhere. He's a really good friend of mine. He was there supporting us, but his family has like this old cabin in Vermont because you can't like rent a hotel. You don't know how long you're going to be there.
Right.
So we just
Might as well
kept all our
check
stuff
out.
in this old cabin. Like it had not been no one in it for a long time. And then we went back and just passed out in it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what, when I made the cover of Men's Health, that was one of the things that really impressed them because it was actually a competition they did looking for the ultimate guy.
Yeah.
And I entered it a month late. And I remember the night that I entered, a guy that I had met in passing, some actor shared it, was like, hey, vote for me. And I was like, I'll vote for you, then I'm going to enter. You know what I mean? And I answered all these essay questions. I sent it in. And that night I kept hitting refresh. And it just kept people like, Kobe Bryant shared it. Like all these different people shared it. Like, so in 24, with it, before I woke up the next morning, out of 1,300 people, I went from last place to first place. And then I was like, then I started reading all the rules. I was like, oh man, like they're not going to, like, it has nothing to do. The online voting only makes it 5% of the decision. They had an entire, and so then I was like, I'm not going to make it. And they started narrowing it down to 100 people. And we had to send in videos, more questions. Then it was down to the top 20, top 10, got to the top 10. And I was the only person that was in the original top 10 online voting. They were all different people. And one of them was an injured veteran, good looking guy in a wheelchair, super fit. I'm like, dang, that was my angle. You know what I mean? Like, who is this guy? So then we had 3 more essay questions we had to answer. I answered them, and then right before I hit send, skipped a couple of lines. I just listed all the races I'd done.
Yeah.
And I sent it. And then they narrowed it down to 3 of us, flew us all out to New York. We did a photo shoot, got to know everyone at Men's Health, and they sent us home and said that when we came back in a month, they'd announce on the Today Show who the winner was. I was like, that is horrible. I was like, why would you do that to us? I even asked her, I was like, what if one of us just loses our mind on the Today Show? She's like, oh, we've done our homework. We know that's not going to happen. Well, the worst part was when I met the other 2 people. So I get to New York. And even though I'd researched them, I'd already researched them, but seeing somebody in person, oh my God, the first one was this guy, Kavan Lake. Kavan is like 6'4", just a beautiful black man, right? And the elevator's open. I'm like, he's like, no. I'm like, Kavan? Well, then I meet Finney. Finney, Akers is this incredible guy, super buff, just great looking dude, amazing backstory. Like, I don't remember what exactly, but he loses his parents, takes on raising his younger siblings. Like, I'm like, what in the world? Well, then we do our photo shoot. These guys take their shirts off. Oh, I felt sick to my stomach. I'm like, this isn't right.
I'm photoshopping this, right?
Yeah, I'm like, and then I make the cover. And I remember when I made the cover, then I went and did all these interviews. And then I had a moment to myself in the hotel room. And I reached out to Finney and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was like, they did it for political reasons. Like, I was convinced, like, it was, he goes, no, Noah, you earned it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he talked me off this ledge. And then Men's Health, they told me, because I had brought, they're like, they'd heard, they were like, we heard you thought it was a political. I was like, I didn't know. I mean, maybe y'all are. They're like, first of all, no. Second of all, you weren't the first pick for the judges. I was like, oh, well, you'd have to tell me that. But they said what sold it was when they saw that I had done more races than all these able-bodied people.
Yeah.
And they said that's when they were like, that's our guy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So that was a huge moment for me. And this November will be 10 years. And that was their best sold issue.
That is wild.
Like, it was huge for them.
Just
Someone
your
steal that
influence
copy over
alone
there?
on that. Yeah, we still got that copy.
We'll
of it.
steal it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got the wrong name on it.
To be fair, you go by Chris.
Yeah.
You
Wait
go
a
by
minute. What did I
Chuck.
write on there? Did I
It
write
was about
Chuck?
to be Chris.
Yeah.
And then you
No.
changed the R to you.
No, that's not what it was.
So it's
Yeah,
Crux.
he messed up the C.
But he also goes
That-
by
and-
Drayton and
Oh, yeah. You're
using-
60. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Change that handle.
Sometimes I get.
That's my
I'm
middle
afraid-
name.
It doesn't matter. We
I'm
don't know
afraid
you
I
there's
wanna
say.
go
that
back.
day that like the
I'm about to
feds
say,
are
like,
going to
Ellison
show
audio
up.
drama.
and
Do
do you know who
Heroing
you're
out.
married to?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
Do,
know.
wait a minute. How many times do you get asked, do you have any aliases? And you just have to rattle
How many
off all
times you
this
been
stuff.
arrested?
Dude, I counted in middle school. I had like 14 nicknames. Like, no joke. People call me Little Spider because my dad.
You know what? I've got one of his tattoos.
Do you really?
He put a
I wish I
he
would've
did
got
one of
that.
my tattoos.
Was it pre-military or post-military?
Post It was after I was injured.
Okay.
It was right here in Calera.
In Calera or in
Yeah.
Alabaster?
No, Calera. He had the one
where
where
his later
where Tattoo Jungle is now.
Yeah.
Yes. By that subway. I'm pretty sure that's where it
He
was.
there-
No, maybe it
he
wasn't there.
He wasn't there. He was in Clanton for a little while.
Wasn't Clanton.
He was in Jemison for a little
It
while.
was in
on Main
Alabaster for a
Street.
minute.
He was in Alabaster primarily.
Yeah.
Like from his startup, his business till
No, wait a minute. Do you have a brother that also does tattoo?
no. I was the youngest tattoo artist in the world
You?
in
Do you
2011.
want to give me a tattoo?
It's been since 2011, or no, sorry, 2001.
That's not what-
Since I've done with
Because
tattoos.
I've gotten
That's
two
what I
tattoos from his shop. One was from him
I'll give
and
you
one
one.
was from someone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a
I'll
big
give you
stocky
smiley
guy.
face
Probably
on your toe.
Okay, yeah.
You can give me anything you want.
But no, I did
Oh,
my
that's
first.
awesome.
I gave my first
With
tattoo.
your stick and poke.
I
Yeah,
turned
yeah.
Okay.
11
We'll do
doing
that.
it. Like we did it.
Yeah?
Like we did it like 10:30 at night. I finished at midnight.
Yeah.
I turned 11 doing it. They recorded it. I don't know why we never sent it into Guinness Book of World Records or whatever, but that was the plan. I think they had to have somebody on site to verify.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And like I've done 3 or 4 tattoos when I was a kid, but I haven't touched it since I was like 11 years old.
But you're kind of like an artist, though, for real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
You're an
like-
artist. So, no, it
like-
makes perfect
He's
sense.
done all of our logos.
Right.
And
But drawing and tattooing are super different.
Yeah.
Like the skin moves.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do hepatitis for you.
No, I'm certified and all this. Dude, that's a part of the reason why I'm a germaphobe. Because when I was 9 or 10 years old, my parents put me through the health department.
Have to learn everything. And you're like, oh,
that's
my
why you got
God.
the job you have now.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah,
reason.
well, there's
Yeah, I went through the health department certification. I was the youngest licensed artist in whatever you could think of, world.
I need
whatever.
a Drayton tattoo in my life.
I'll give you one, but just
I'm also
promise me you don't
gonna
get
get
pissed.
an Alex
He's gonna
tattoo.
get an Alex tattoo too.
We'll discuss that.
We
I
just got to
really
buy the
want to
equipment.
do that challenge where I draw a picture of you and you draw a picture of me, and we see how.
I've already
different it
drawn a picture
is.
of you, so you can draw one of me.
Yeah, and it's very lifelike. And have you ever seen my drawing abilities? I just want to see how funny the difference between the two.
I want to do the thing where someone draws something on someone's back and they draw it on
Right.
something
Yeah.
else.
Yes.
That's what I want
Just
to
see
do.
what
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
like. Oh, but before I forget, I wanted to thank you because you helped me get way further into the competition that I was doing for the men's. What men's health? I think it was men's fitness.
Men's fitness. Yeah, it
Yeah.
actually helped.
Oh, it made
I
a
felt
huge
bad
difference.
because when you asked me, like,
I had a guy
it's-
message me. He goes, "Hey, I'm voting you because Noah says so."
oh, dude,
I was
that's
like,
awesome. Because you never know. Like, I think, like, back then, like, I had a really big following and you want to be able to use that to help other people,
Right.
but your followers don't care about that other stuff.
No,
So it's
you-
hard to
you
do.
made a huge
But all it
difference.
takes is a couple of people.
Yeah.
And that you're one of the, like, I didn't share. I've had other people ask that and I didn't do
Well, I
it.
appreciate it. You know, I got to the second to the last round before it got to like the top 10 or whatever. So they had the preliminary groupings,
Mhm.
and I was like the top 2 of my group, which I thought was way further than I was going to make it
Yeah.
ever before. I really didn't expect to make it past like week 2. We were actually on vacation, and
We were in St. Thomas, weren't we?
when I found out like
Yeah.
I made it to the final 2 of my group or whatever. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Oh,
And then secondly, since we've all done races, but we hadn't done one as a group, would you join us in June? I'm putting you on the spot. If you're free.
well, my first reaction is no.
That's okay to say
No,
no.
no, no. Oh, no, what's funny is like all these
That's
people,
right, that's
all these
right.
people are always like, "Oh, you're gonna get back into racing." I'm like, "No, like I did my time. I'm out." But I would like to. But June, like I think I'm gone the entire month of
That's
June.
fine. That's fine.
We're going out to Reno, Lake Tahoe, Sacramento, like for F45. I'm going out there. So it's like we're just
No,
taking
you
advantage
ain't gonna hurt
of
my
June.
feelings.
How
But
far-
fine,
how
but
far
we'll
for
talk
races
later
is
because
this?
whatever date it is, which one are y'all doing?
I'll do up to it.
Whatever the barbarian one.
Oh,
is.
the Barbarian
It's like-
Challenge.
It's like the only
I
weekend
think
in
it's
June
like
that
that.
we're free
Okay.
because it's my birthday weekend.
Yeah.
We were going to go to Huntsville to do something, but I'd rather do that.
I'll do up to 6 months.
I think I'm.
At this
I think
point.
I'm free as well on that.
Okay. Well, we'll put together their team. We'll
Yeah. What is it?
invite
I mean, like,
everybody
I think
who's
Warrior, I think Barbarian Challenge, when I did it, they gave me free pass forever,
going. We're not as cool as you.
but I never followed it up. So now they were like, we don't know who you are. Like, I don't know who was
The
running
C-
it back
the
then,
CEO
but we
changed
ain't
like 3
giving
times.
free stuff away, buddy.
Who are you?
Yeah.
This is Georgia. Wait, no, is it Alabama?
They'll be like,
It
"We
is.
saw-
It's in Gaston.
they'll be
Yeah.
like, "We
Yeah.
saw your Tesla. You can pay."
Yeah. I'm going to show up in the worst vehicle possible.
We thought you pulled up in your Tesla today with the sound audio change.
Programming.
Yeah.
Oh, that car doesn't have an outside speaker anymore. It doesn't make, when they back up, they go, mine doesn't do anything.
makes
You
you think
beat it
there's
up?
like an
Oh, I've
alien
destroyed that
abduction
car.
every time.
That's one thing that's impressed me with like every car like that I've ever owned. I am so hard on vehicles. Like I drive fast, I brake hard, and a combustion engine will destroy. That Tesla has proven to me that there's less moving components.
Jesus, yeah.
We've had it for 3 years. I've got over 100,000 miles on it now. And other than the fact that it doesn't make any noise backing up, it's you clean it up and it's a great car.
What's your favorite vehicle?
Well, that I've ever owned ever.
Owned,
Assuming
and then
it's
like
what you're
what
driving
you would
now.
What I would love to have that I've ever owned. I had a Challenger SRT 392 that I had decked out and put a lot of money into.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Like it just had a good look to it. I had bags on it so I could set it on the ground.
Yeah.
The wheels were supposed to be copper, but I chose the wrong color online. And then when they came in, the shop called me. They're like, "You may want to come check this. Like they're gold." I'm like, "What? They're gold?" They're like, "Let's put it on the car and see how it looks." I was like,
Grand Theft
"I
Auto.
like it. It looks amazing." And it had this cool interior. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
The car that I would like to have. Oh, I'm such a car guy. I don't even know where to start with that. I'm looking at so many vehicles right now. Like I always wanted an old Cadillac.
Yes.
Look, I'm not afraid. The other day I was looking at a Volkswagen Bug on Facebook Marketplace. Like, how cool would that be?
No,
She wants a
Astro van.
Volkswagen van.
Yeah, I want a
Yeah.
van. Yeah,
The
I wanna,
Volkswagen.
Oh, the Volkswagen Bus.
Yeah.
Yes, I almost bought one
Yes.
pre-COVID
I want to turn it into like a camper.
from Megan. that works at the cookie. She go to the
Yeah. I
she
remember
had
that.
one that she
Oh,
was
yeah?
sitting in her driveway. I almost bought it from her.
Now, my dream car is my brother's car. It's sitting in the backyard, and it's like a 70 model Camaro.
Oh yeah.
Like my oldest brother had a 70 model Camaro, pearl white, glistened in the sun. My other brother had an SS Monte Carlo, and I had an 84 Camaro
Yeah.
that my parents sold without telling me, and I was just devastated. Like I didn't get to drive my muscle car.
Yeah.
So my dream is to get a true muscle car one day. Everybody's gonna say it's a midlife crisis, but no, it's a lifelong dream.
Yeah.
No, I that's one of the things that like I had a 1980 Corvette
Mhm.
and bought a 383 stroker motor. Then I had a buddy of mine that was like, "Hey, let me put the motor in." Like he always built race cars. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. 4 years later, he's like, "Man, I'm not gonna be able to finish it. My health's too bad and this and that." I'm like, "It's already started. Like no one wants to follow up. No one will follow up
Right.
a new
Somebody
motor
else
being."
does,
So
yeah.
I just sold it in auction and surprisingly got $6,000 for it. But every
Yeah.
time I see a C3 Corvette, I'm like,
You
"Oh!"
think-
But I want it. But you know what? It wasn't going in the direction I wanted to anyway. Like I want a hot rod that has a blower motor sticking, like ridiculous.
Right.
Well, you said you had an 80?
80
My dad-
side pipes.
So my dad had an 81 that he put side pipes on.
Yep.
And everybody just knew it was a Stingray.
Yeah.
Everybody
Man.
thought it was a Stingray.
So when I turned 16, like my uncle Larry, who's we're off record, kind of be like, he had to leave the state of Alabama for reasons. Uncle Larry's not the best human, but he's a good human. But he had a bright yellow Stingray. He's like, "I will sell you for your 16." My dad's like, "It's too much car for you."
Yeah.
I said, "What did you have when you were 16?" He's like, "It doesn't matter."
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I
Yeah.
said, "What did you have?" He had a 69 Mach 1 Mustang. And I'm
Oh.
like, "You're telling me this?" He's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I'm not. I know what I did.
Yeah.
So you're not doing what I did." So I got a Honda Civic.
What did you
I
have?
can have a great argument for May because I had a 1993 Oldsmobile Cutlass.
I remember those.
that was owned by like an 86-year-old woman and I turned 16 in 2006. So this car was 13 years old when I got it.
Wait a minute.
And
wait
it
a
had
minute.
maroon
You know what a Cutlass is?
interior.
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had
I was about to say,
maroon-
did he pull it
had
up?
I was,
maroon-
the age was, I was like 2006.
I know.
We babies.
Yeah.
But
mean, I
it
went
had
too
a
far
maroon
before. I was in
interior,
96.
and we measured the front end of it. The front end was longer and wider than my sister's Tahoe. It was like driving.
My
bus.
first
That thing
car,
was probably indestructible.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Boats and hose.
Yeah.
my first car was my mom's old car. Then I drove it so much and destroyed it. They're like, "It's yours." It was an 86 Chevy Celebrity 4-door. But I will point this out. It was the 2.8 motor. They had a 2.4, but I had the Hoss V6
Nice.
2.8. Put a hole in the muffler. Sounded awesome.
I can't
I
say-
took an old lawnmower blade and put. Guess what?
Oh.
That's what white trash I was. I'm proud of it.
The front seat was a bench seat. And
Yeah.
I'm 5'2", so anyone who rode with me, their
They
knees.
moved
were
all
like-
up.
My parents
I
knew
never
what
even
they were
thought about
doing.
that.
Yeah.
I had a Honda Accord one time that the passenger window wouldn't roll down. And in summertime, it didn't have an air conditioner.
Yeah.
Like my friends hated riding with me because it was just hot.
Yeah.
I had to crank it with I had 2 cars. I had to crank it with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
I went through several cars. Like I was not making money.
Yeah.
I never sold any. I destroyed all of them. But like I would make deals to get them. Like I worked in a plant that made fire brick, and a guy that knew my dad needed to replace some cracks in his fireplace.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can get you some stuff. And he had an old Ford Taurus in his yard that was his ex-wife's. He hated her, hated that car. So it had for 3 years it sat, same gas.
Yeah.
All 4 windows were cracked, and he was putting garbage bags in it. So I took it, got all the trash out, and it just you never got rid of all the
No.
gnats.
No.
Like it was just all the time. Just that car was.
I had to drive my mom's powder blue Grand Marquis my senior year of high school. And on the front, she had a vanity plate made that said Granny's Ride.
Granny's ride. You ride
'Cause
around that?
I have siblings much older.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, powder blue Grand Marquis that said Granny's Ride my senior year of high school.
When me and my friends, we would all go to the Midfield Community Center on the weekend, and with all of our beat up old cars that we either acquired from our parents or that's the only thing they could afford, and we would take turns driving each other's cars because it was so exciting to just drive something different.
Yeah.
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 I had got that from my cousin. My cousin was like 2 years older than me. So as soon as he started driving, me and him were going everywhere together. And originally he had like normal cars. He would drive his dad's truck or stuff, but he had a he had this, whatever the half year was in Mustang, 64 and a half.
Or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he had that, which was a beautiful car, green, like hunter green, but somebody cut the cables out of it. So he started bouncing from car to car. He had like an Eclipse at one point, but he had this old hoopty, and it was a 50 model. Like, I don't know what it was. I can't not remember for the life of me, but I just remember it was a shift column,
Yeah.
column shifter. You talking about trying to change gears on the column, like with the clutch and
Yeah,
everything?
yeah.
He let me try to drive it one time. I nearly killed us in the driveway.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine how anybody in the 50s drove it
Drove it like that,
changing
yeah.
the column shifter.
I've never experienced the column shift.
Like,
I love a
Through a
good.
tree.
Like, and
Yeah.
I learned to drive stick on a dune buggy on the dirt roads.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with the stick, but that right there was insane.
What was the Cougar? What make was the Cougar?
Mercury?
I had a Cougar Mercury that was my sister's, and that's how I learned how to drive stick.
I had a Jeep Cherokee, and my dad was like, if you can guarantee me a college scholarship, I'll buy you whatever you want. I wanted a 5-speed Civic, like, because Fast and Furious just came
No,
out.
yeah.
No,
So I never learned how to drive the stick shift at all. And he's like, all right, you got to drive it home. It's like a 2.5-hour drive back from Florence. And so I learned how to drive a stick on the way home. But I think
That's cool.
that Civic was like, I think I sold it with 312,000 miles on it. Bought a Element, put 306,000 miles on it.
Holy
And
crap.
I think my Tacoma now is like 210.
Was
or
the
something
Element
like
the
that.
green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The green box?
Yep.
I
Yeah.
love that thing. You could just like, because it was plastic interior, so you could spray it out.
Oh yeah.
You could put a freaking full size blow up mattress in the back. So
Yeah.
I would.
Those are cool.
Throw
Like, I
my
always
back
thought
of
those
it.
were cool cars. I guess they didn't do well.
I made fun of you until
Yeah,
I drove
yeah.
it, and then I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
because I mean,
same.
it's just like I never had to pay for a hotel.
Yeah.
I slept at every trailhead that I
Yeah,
was
that's
in. So I
awesome.
was just like, I
Yeah.
could just go for weekends, sleep in my vehicle, not have to pay for anything. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you, who did you buy the Tacoma from? Was it off of Facebook?
A kid named Colby.
Okay, never mind. I had a client who sold his Tacoma right at the same time
Yeah?
that you bought that one. And I was like, I wonder if that was
This dude
like,
was
at the
from
exact same time.
Maplesville or
Oh, okay.
something like that. He was.
Now, wait a minute. One day y'all had, you don't have the one that was built like a race Tacoma, was it? Somebody was here at one of your events one time.
Oh no, he's a client of mine, or he's a member of the
He
gym.
bought it off of Facebook Marketplace, didn't he?
I don't know.
Because I think I saw.
He bought it off a friend.
Okay, because there was somebody selling one, but the image they had was it with all the logos on it.
So his,
The blue and gray one.
Yes.
I don't know if it's the
I
same
almost
one.
I
bought
wanted
that
it.
one.
I wanted it.
Man, I
don't-
inquired me. He's like, I'm just pending an offer right now.
I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if it's the same
No,
one.
yeah, but I've seen it
Because-
around town. If it's not, I've seen it
Because
and
guy
thinking it's the same
here,
one.
It's
Yeah.
Hudson, the big dude who's getting ready for effing strong.
That
Okay.
pulls the tiny camper behind him.
Yeah, he got. Oh, that's brand new.
I
And
know,
that
I
thing
want
is
it.
amazing. We'll talk about that later, but I want one so bad. It's like 14 grand, but it's perfect for what we want to do. But he bought it off a friend who was just getting ready to sell it. He's like, if you're going to sell this, I've spent a lot of time helping you build this. Let me buy it off of you.
Yeah.
Like, he spent a lot of time investing.
Ah,
in it.
okay,
He's
yeah.
like, yeah, let me just take this off your hands. And we actually talked about using it in the event as a deadlift. But I think it's just a little too heavy. It's about the same weight as Alex's. It's a little bit heavier than Alex's car, which is still lighter than my truck. But we're going to use Alex's car for one, and then just do like tires and weights for the other one. Oh, she's telling us it's ready to wrap up, ain't it?
She is filling up a diaper for our for the finale.
You
For the
can feel it.
finale,
Yep.
she is. Her nostrils started flaring and the eyes started watering.
Yeah.
So
This is where we're at.
We're over an hour in. Let's wrap this one up. We'll definitely do it again. 'Cause, I mean,
Yeah, this is
I enjoyed it. Anytime y'all let me
This-
come on, I love it.
sounds great. So we normally end with us finishing our drinks. No, you don't have to chug the bottle of water, but
You have to chug the bottle.
Yeah.
whole bottle.
Did you start? I'm like,
it's not as fun as
well, when he starts laughing, I was like, I'm in
Help
a
it.
spit
I'm like, he's actually going for
anywhere.
Nobody cares.
Train harder.
That